Le moment est venu d'accueillir le plus grand révolutionnaire, si on peut dire, de l'entreprise, le fondateur de Microsoft. Voilà un homme qui aura profondément marqué la seconde partie du XXe siècle. Il est, à lui seul, on peut le dire, le symbole de la révolution technologique d'une génération, celle qui a vu naître le micro-ordinateur, une révolution technologique sans laquelle l'entrée bouleversante dans le monde virtuel de l'Internet n'aurait pas pu avoir lieu. L'entreprise qu'il a fondée avec Paul Allen en 1975, juste quelques chiffres pour vous donner quelques ordres de grandeur, et elles sont évidemment importantes. Aujourd'hui, Microsoft, c'est 60 000 personnes, 50 milliards de dollars de chiffre d'affaires, près de 20 milliards de dollars de bénéfices d'exploitation, un trésor de guerre de l'ordre de 35 milliards de dollars, 51 milliards de fortune pour Bill Gates, qu'il partage beaucoup, on va y venir tout à l'heure, donc c'est évidemment extrêmement important. Microsoft, c'est aussi un groupe confronté à des défis, l'Internet, la téléphonie, la musique en ligne, les bouleversements technologiques et bien sûr, Vista est probablement un des éléments de réponse à ces défis. Et puisque nous sommes ici en communion avec ceux qui ont envie de créer leur entreprise, des porteurs de projets, comme on dit, eh bien, nous demanderons aussi aux fondateurs de Microsoft de vous donner ses conseils. Voilà, je vous propose d'accueillir maintenant Bill Gates. Merci, and welcome in Paris. Première question, premier thème. Évidemment, l'acte de démarrage de l'entreprise, autant dire, ça intéresse ici beaucoup ceux qui sont dans cette salle. Plus de 6 000 personnes qui sont aujourd'hui avec nous, dans cette salle et aussi dans les salles qui ont été ouvertes à côté, puisqu'il y a trop de monde dans ce palais des congrès. On dit souvent que pour créer son entreprise, les premiers freins sont dans l'environnement, les partenaires, les banquiers, souvent difficiles à convaincre. Est-ce une situation que vous-même, vous avez rencontrée à votre époque, en 1975 ? Est-ce que vous avez vécu ce type d'expérience ou est-ce que c'est très particulier à la France ?
Yes, I had some skepticism, starting with my parents, because I was leaving the university without getting a degree. And that didn't seem like a good idea to them. And, you know, even simple things like I couldn't rent a car. So when I would go to visit customers, it was fairly difficult. I couldn't get a credit card. But I have to say that once we established a little bit of success, that people were open-minded, then they said, wow, if you can do this when you're so young, they actually in some cases thought we could do things that were beyond what we could do. So some skepticism, but, you know, in a sense, we didn't even think about it because we were so excited about what we knew and we thought that it was something different. And we just felt lucky that nobody else could see what we were seeing. We were always worried that somebody would get there before us.
Alors, justement, vous rappeliez vos débuts. Vous étiez étudiant à Harvard, vous aviez une carrière toute tracée d'avocat ou de manager, vous étiez d'une famille plutôt aisée, et puis donc à 20 ans, vous avez tout plaqué pour vous lancer dans l'aventure d'une nouvelle industrie. On était vraiment au frémissement de la micro-informatique. Donc, la prise de risque, donc, c'est vraiment quelque chose d'essentiel pour les entrepreneurs. C'est ça qui distingue un entrepreneur d'une autre personne ?
It is a risk to start a new business, and you've got to enjoy what you're doing enough that you're willing to take that risk. In my case, the risk was probably very low because I didn't have a family at that time, and if I hadn't succeeded, you know, Harvard would have been willing to take me back. They didn't slam the door when I left, so I was officially on leave at the time. The part that actually scared me the most was that I hired my friends. And so I had 11 of my friends, and I would often find myself on a napkin figuring out how many customers had to come through and pay their bills for me to be able to meet the payroll so that these friends would have their paychecks actually cash. Because many of my customers were also new companies, and they would sometimes go out of business without paying what we had hoped that they would pay to us. So I remember a little bit of apprehension, not about myself, but about these people who I'd convinced to move and leave their kind of normal jobs and come work for this wild new company. And I felt good when that finally worked out for them, that it was a good decision on their part.
Alors on a là, on disait en ouverture tout à l'heure, des personnes qui ont envie de créer leur entreprise. Est-ce que vous pensez qu'il y a, compte tenu de votre expérience, et elle est grande évidemment, est-ce qu'il y a des qualités, des aptitudes communes à tout entrepreneur? Quelles qualités? Qu'est-ce qui s'apprend et qu'est-ce qui ne s'apprend pas dans ce job?
Well, every entrepreneur has to be a mix of many different skills. You have to understand business, the sense of what are your costs going to look like and what is your income going to come look like. You have to have a kind of a natural sense for those things. You also have to be a salesperson because not just convincing your customers to buy your product, but convincing people to extend credit to you and convincing people to come to work for your company. Probably the key factor that makes the biggest difference after the quality of the idea you have is that initial team of people and how strong are they. And in fact, when you invite them to come in, they're coming in for a tiny little company, but you actually want their skills to be such that even as you get to 10 people or 50 people, that their ability can grow with that company. And so you want essentially overqualified people. So you have to be very convincing that it's worth it for them to come along and join up. So you have to know business, you have to know your area, you have to work very long hours. So an entrepreneur is an unusual person who's got more skills than they've probably been formally trained to have.
Alors, vous êtes un role model, comme on dit en américain. Vous êtes une icône, un modèle pour les entrepreneurs de tous les pays, mais on a envie de vous demander, vous-même, aviez-vous un modèle, un entrepreneur qui vous a inspiré à vos débuts?
Well, I was absolutely inspired by some of the great entrepreneurs that I read about who had done things in the past, and some that I got to meet. In the computer industry, a person like Ken Olsen, who started Digital Equipment, or Ang Wang, who started Wang Laboratories, they were just amazing people. The people who started Intel, Gordon Moore, Bob Noyce. Now, many of these companies were successful, but eventually went on and had some great difficulties. So I knew it was a risky business, that your future success wasn't guaranteed. But the kind of values they brought to the early company, I'd say Hewlett and Packard are other examples of this. The person I've learned the most from is my friend Warren Buffett, who runs a company called Berkshire Hathaway. And he both buys companies and invests in companies, and he's been willing to share a lot of advice with me over the years. It's made a big difference. So I really think entrepreneurs getting to know each other, even just to have a sounding board, because your employees, you don't want to go to your employees and say, well, there's a 30% chance we'll go out of business. It's probably best to share that privately with your fellow entrepreneurs than always show your optimism to the team you're building. So those kind of relationships are important. That certainly helped me that a lot of the successful entrepreneurs were willing to talk with me and share ideas. And